Hey everybody, Ben Frederickson here alongside Jeff Gordon for this week's Inside Pitch. Gordo, a moment to pause and congratulate the National League Central champion St. Louis Cardinals. They've reclaimed this division and they did it without much suspense. They pretty much turned on the gas after the All-Star break and ran away with the division back in control. And I know we're going to focus more about what needs to come next for the Cardinals to feel like they've had a successful season. But the Brewers have been a tough customer for a while now. There's something to be said for pushing them back firmly into second place and this team's ability to do it with plenty of games left to play here.
Yeah, shout out to the group. This team did not look like it was going to win the division going back before the All-Star break. The group, I mean, obviously you had the NV2. MV2 did a heck of a job and kept the team going. But then a lot of guys started playing better and, management stepped up. And, you had a manager who managed a lot of change during the course of the season, a lot of guys coming and going, and just a combination of the team leadership, the firm direction of the field manager, and the general manager who made moves at a time when certainly the Milwaukee Brewers were willing to play cute and think about future payrolls. The Cardinals made a commitment to try to do something this year while they had Albert, while they had Wainwright, while they had Molina, all that going on. And you know what? Ben Frederick became more than just a nostalgia tour. It became another division title.
It should not go lost that the Cardinals made their most aggressive trade deadline moves in years. Now, aggressive for the Cardinals, Gordo. We got to put that in the proper context, but aggressive nonetheless. And look how it turned out. Jordan Montgomery, Jose Quintana became key members of this rotation, and really there was called a trickle-down effect, or an almost a contagiousness that they brought with their success, and it lifted this team into a run that locked the door on this division. So there's a chance still that they could wind up facing the Brewers in that wild card series. And let's kind of turn the page to what comes next, because the unfortunate part of where the Cardinals are, Gordo, is they're a division champion, but they're not going to get much reward for it in this new expanded playoffs, because they're not going to catch the Mets or the Braves, who are a top 2 seed, and get a bye from that. They're going to have to play in a wild card series. They could potentially wind up playing the same team that they just shoved out of the division race in Milwaukee. The only benefit is you get to host the best of 3 opening round series at home, which for the Cardinals, that's good. They've got a nice home field advantage. They play better at Busch Stadium. That's a large compliment to the fans who show up and support. And I think they feed off of that energy, but still you'd much rather have a bye or at least a 5-game series where you feel like there's a better chance of the colors coming out in the wash and having a more representative sample. That's not what they've been able to get. They're going to have to make do, but they could end up facing the Brewers. They could end up facing the Phillies. They could end up facing the Padres, probably most likely San Diego. But all of the suspense is gone. They just have to now sit around and wait to see who they play. What has to happen for the Cardinals to make good on their pledge that this isn't about nostalgia? This isn't just about winning the division. This is about getting back to those deep and sustained postseason runs that guys like Albert Pujols came to expect when they were with the Cardinals before.
Well, I think, first of all, you are playing at home, so I think you're going to be compelled to play your best defensive lineup. Try to field real well. Hope you get enough pitching and use your entirety of your bullpen, and hope that your guys hit, because you're not going to be able to roll out substandard outfielders. And I think the Nolan Gorman at second base thing kind of went by the wayside with his late season slump. But so you really just want to field well, find enough pitching, and give the MV2 some help offensively. And of course, part of that is get Paul Goldschmidt back to the MVP level. We've seen a little bit of sign of that here lately. So they know their formula. It's just can the guys who can play best in that ballpark to support the pitching staff hit? And can the pitchers, you've hit, some who've hit some rough spots here, Adam Wainwright, Jordan Montgomery, can they figure it out before this postseason begins?
Very encouraging, the game Paul Goldschmidt had in the game Cardinals clinched in Milwaukee. Looks like the Paul Goldschmidt that we've seen for much of this season. I'm not too worried about Goldie. I will point out, though, and maybe this is alarmist, but I'm just going to put it out there. Nolan Arenado, 6 postseason games in his career, not a lot. He was just a part of a team that clinched a division championship for the first time. So they're not a huge sample size, but 1 extra base hit in 6 postseason games. One of the clear steps for Nolan to make now that he's going to be playing in postseasons more often. That's why he came to St. Louis, why he pressured the trade here. He wants to be in the postseason and perform. So I think that's something to kind of keep an eye on as the postseason nears. I love the way you said it about the pitching. You know that Miles Michaelis is going to start one of those 3 games, and you know every game is going to try to get to Ryan Helsley. That's the Cardinals' plan. How do you get to Helsley? I think you have to start Miles Michaelis one. The rest, Gordo, pretty much up in the air. Adam Wainwright has struggled down the stretch. Jose Quintana has come on strong down the stretch. I wouldn't sleep on him as an option. Jordan Montgomery looked like a no-brainer earlier. He's had some rocky road here lately. Jack Flaherty is still trying to make a case. If you were Oli Marmol, what are you looking at in these final few games to try to help you make those postseason calls? Whether it's, hey, I'm going with Brendan Donovan here, or, hey, I'm going to pinch hit Juan Yepez here. This guy could be my starter. They're going to give certain guys some well-needed rest, but he's going to be managing with an eye of, okay, who can I trust when this thing comes down to 3 games or bust?
Yeah, and you're watching everything. Like, can Adam Wainwright get life on his pitches? What do the at-bats look like? Can Jordan Montgomery get back to his command of making that fastball work to set everything else up for him, or has the league caught up to him in the sense of knowing how he pitches? So yeah, so many things to look out for, and he's got time, but boy, they're going to have some long nights getting ready for this postseason.
Congratulations to the Cardinals. They accomplished their first step of what they hope is a longer goal. And we have plenty of coverage of the clinch, of the celebration, of what's to come up at stltoday.com. And we'll have continued coverage, expanded coverage throughout the postseason, including some really nice send-offs to Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols that you'll be hearing more about in the coming days and weeks at stltoday.com. For Jeff Gordon, I'm Ben Frederickson. We'll talk to you next time.